Good morning.
Good morning.
You are a badass.
Thank you, I know.
Yes, that's what
sorry.
that's what we're talking about today.
I keep thinking he's giving me a compliment and he's not.
Well, you really are a badass.
Sorry.
No, you're not a badass. You're great though. So this is, well, you know what? I mean, is she a badass? Like, I don't see you kicking somebody's butt. I see you getting your butt kicked.
Just because I don't take Krav McGraw or Gavin McGraw, whatever.
Right.
I know.
Right. Hey, is the sound okay, Tommy? Because I can't hear her at all through my headset.
Yeah, it's fine here.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is a book by Jen Sincero. All right, sorry, Jen Sincero. She's
a chick.
Yeah, Jen. So basically, it's called "You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life." And it's very, there we go, thank you. And it's very, very female-centric.
Nice.
Yeah, very female-centric. As life should be. So it was pretty good. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I'm halfway through it, so I figured we'd review half.
Okay.
And that's Jen over there. Hey, can you switch cameras? Jen's filling in this week.
She's our guest.
Yes, she's a guest.
Yay.
Jessica Wells, she says, you are a badass, Jenny.
Thank you, Jessica. Sorry.
Yes, that's true. So anyway, so I thought I would jump right in. I started reading this book, and she started talking about, how she's a single lady and how she met this dude at Macy's, and they were hooking up, and he wasn't that great, and she wanted to kick him out of the bedroom, but but she didn't want to embarrass him.
She is a Jen, after all.
And I literally am like, what is this book going to be? And then I realized this is really a girl book. So you guys are going to have to help me a little bit today.
Okay.
But basically, it starts out by saying that it's about getting clear about what makes you happy, what makes you feel most alive, and kind of creating it instead of pretending you can't have it or that you don't deserve it. So it's all about being happy.
Okay, right? I like it.
And having the cojones to show up your brightest, happiest, baddest ass version of yourself each and every day to everywhere you go. So I'm going to say that one more time. The cojones, or I'm going to say the ovaries, to show up as the brightest, happiest, baddest ass version of yourself, whatever that looks like to you.
That's so true. And what makes me think, it makes me think of, when people always say, you don't have to not shine your light as bright to make others feel good. That's what that reminds me of.
Let's stick to that theme because that is big in this book.
Okay.
Yes. So you're basically saying like a lot of times we kind of dull ourselves so that we can make other people feel better, right? Or, and it's even like, but if you think of like the essence of comedy, it's self-deprivation, which is almost like not healthy, but it's true.
Oh, I don't know anyone who does that.
Uh-huh. Why are you looking at Adam? Oh, yeah. Hey, we almost got Adam to turn a camera on himself today. Yeah, but it didn't work.
We all know you don't want my handsomeness, my young virile strength competing with your aging, diminishing masculinity.
He's on to us, Chuck. He's on to us.
Yeah. No, Tom, just, I'm not even going to go there.
So funny.
Oh, so I see Duffy says he loves the book, and he gave one to, so yes, and now I just want you to know I got this from a 12-year-old. I stole it from her, actually. Jen's daughter over there. I stole it from Faith. It was just too cool. So here we go. Here's how it starts out, Tom. You tell me if you can relate with this, okay? Wanting can be done sitting on the couch with a bong in your hand and a travel magazine in your lap.
Yes.
That's like not really getting things done, but like pretending or wanting to get things done. So a bong in your hand, sitting on the couch with a travel magazine in your lap. So deciding means jumping in all the way, doing whatever it takes, and going after your dreams with the tenacity of a dateless cheerleader a week before prom night. All right, so we're going to go after things with the tenacity of a dateless cheerleader a week before prom night. That's when I knew like I'm in for it with this book. This is definitely a little different. So it's basically realization, and here's something else, and I want everybody, Tom, you got to admit this, everybody out there. When you start realizing that life is zooming by, is it zooming by or what?
So fast, I can't even function sometimes. Like it's
I know.
Almost March.
I got here 20 minutes early.
Which was a miracle.
Whatever.
So proud of you, Chuck.
I got here 20 minutes early, and I looked at the clock, and next thing I know, it's 9 o'clock. That's how fast it's going. We're already 5 minutes into the show. I mean, life is zooming by, and for a lot of you guys out there, and for a lot of us, we haven't even started living in a way that is really meaningful to us, and it just keeps zooming and zooming and zooming. So when you start thinking about that stuff, most people have these moments, and they look back at kind of, when really successful people look back, there's usually like a moment that they changed or a moment that they decided, I'm going to be my happiest, biggest, brightest, best, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about that. But the quote at the beginning she says is, you don't have to hit the bottom to start crawling out of your hole. You don't have to be at rock bottom. Okay, so
that's nice.
So we're gonna talk about that. So you mentioned this, and it's really funny because one of the first points she said is we need kick-ass people to be coming out of struggle and living large on purpose so that they can inspire other people to rise up. And I think a lot of us kick ourselves in the ass and really do try to keep ourselves down because you don't want to look like you're pretentious or cocky or any of that sort of stuff. I mean, does anybody out there have that issue where they don't want to buy that purse, they don't want to drive that car, they don't want to take it around their friends, they don't want to live in that house? You and I have talked about it before, Jenny.
Yes.
Do you feel that
often.
way ever?
Yes, often.
Still?
Yes, like I receive many things and I don't post them. I don't, yeah.
Because there's the people that are the exact opposite who you look at and annoy you and you don't want to be them.
That is one, yes. And I don't want to make other people feel bad. I don't want to be boastful. I don't want, and sometimes I just don't want people to know my business.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's not true. I don't care if people know my business. Other people don't want other people don't want people to know our business.
Why are your hands all fidgety? What's going on with you right now? I don't know what's going on over here. Is it an uncomfortable subject or what?
It is. It is uncomfortable.
All right, okay. But I do agree with you, and again, I think that's, and we talked about this before, I'm going to talk about it again, but I have never had any car but a truck. Never. And this
But
is
they
the most...
were nice trucks.
They're nice trucks. This is the most expensive...
It's not like a hoopty that you pulled out of...
It's the most expensive car I've ever owned. I paid $53,000 for that thing. And that's a big deal for me. Also because, same kind of thing, like, do I want to drive around, a Porsche or a Corvette and wrap it, all that? I mean, no. What are you laughing at? But anyways...
Sorry.
Sorry, inside joke, people. Go ahead, Adam. But I could, but same kind of thing. Like, you don't want to necessarily, what's the point?
Well, first of all, you're not a good enough driver to do that.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It would not do good for our business.
If I was driving around with a car wrapped?
Correct.
Corvette
Does
wrapped.
everyone agree?
What do you think?
How do you know? They haven't driven with me. All right.
You would get people would
No.
no.
I mean, I'd be zooming in and out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would be zooming in and out,
Yes.
like my ego. All right, but anyway,
Tom gets it.
it's not about
Tom
me.
gets it.
All right, so let's talk about the first thing that the first issue, and that is your subconscious made me do it. Right. So everything we do, our subconscious made me do it. You can blame your subconscious, because I liked how she said this. If you think about it, everybody on this call, yes, Corey, yes, everybody out there, you were born screaming onto this planet.
Yeah.
You came out screaming hell in a handbasket, freaking out what the hell's going on, yelling.
Yep.
As babies, we come out just incapable of anything. We can't even feed ourselves. We can't do anything. Somebody puts something near your mouth, you eat it. Somebody hands you something, you grab it. You're just completely and utterly living in the moment. You're not thinking about the future. You're just coming here with a blank slate. And what happens is we start to explore and expand our worlds and learn from the people that are around us. And I think this is the problem.
Okay, I'm ready.
Our main source of information, this is everybody on this call, our main source of information was our parents. Do you agree?
Yes.
At the
Yes.
beginning of your life, it is
Yes.
nothing but your parents and society.
And older siblings.
Right. Now, they tried to protect you and educate you and love you with all their hearts, and they passed on their beliefs. They learned from their parents, who learned that from their parents, who learned that from their parents.
Okay.
And you're kind of like in this
Yeah.
crapshoot, and you roll the dice, and next thing you know, you're Michael Wysocki, you wake up and Tom's your dad.
Oh my God.
I know, but hey.
I have that nightmare sometimes.
It happens, and so he's already got 2 strikes from right. No, I'm totally kidding, Tom. I'm messing with you, dude. But
But he had Ruth,
Jesus.
so hey.
hey, he did. I thank God he had Ruth. Yes. Sorry, Tommy. But the bottom line is we're all born like in, whatever my mom taught me and your mom taught you and your dad taught you. So they condition you to your original beliefs on this planet.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
It is funny when you talk to people, especially like when I was talking to a lot of different people, whether they had gone through divorces or situations or whatever, and they can be 55 years old and they're still hooked on things that happened to them back when they were 6,
Yes.
7, 8, 9, 10. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
How those years, is that what happened to you, Adam?
I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, no, that was rude.
I was just curious.
You ain't my therapist.
We should have a therapy session with Adam for one show.
I know.
Oh,
And he tells the truth. And we'll have Nance be the therapist.
I don't want to be there.
Oh, I do. So basically, most of us are living in delusions based on someone else's beliefs, our parents.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And
Are you
just-
guys buying that? Are you feeling that, anyone?
do you think, Tommy?
Feeling it?
And I love my parents, but they are the ones that guided you. I was talking to my mom last night on the phone, and I said, hey, Mom, I said, thanks for, passing along some of your good things to me. And I told her that last night. You look like I was really nice. I was being nice.
No. I was just thinking about mine. No.
And I said you were really friendly. Like we used to go down to the pier, and she'd always give sandwiches to the homeless people and the veterans down there, and all that sort of stuff. Like she was always super cool, super nice to people, talk to everybody. And then then you got your other side of your house. You got your dad. Like what did he give you? What did your mom give you? Mm-hmm. And then you just hope you got the right mix. You know?
Yeah, and then you think about your kids, and you're like, oh God, I'm so sorry, you three.
You're like, no, that one got that piece.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you do, and then you're like, oh God, that one got the negative of both of us.
Oh, which one?
I'm not saying.
Oh, okay.
They know.
I know. They know.
No, they each got something, and I'm sure these all people feel the same thing. It's like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So every time people out there, and she cursed a lot. All right. It says you're a badass, so she cursed a lot. So I'm going to too as well. Is that okay?
Probably had a good inkling.
Yeah.
I got my finger over the bleep button.
Okay, good. She said, so every time you ask yourself the question, what the fuck is my problem? The answer lies somewhere in the lame, limiting, false subconscious beliefs that have been dragging you around since you were a little kid.
100%.
But then you look at, like I was watching a speech by Steve Jobs on Friday, and he was addressing Stanford. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how he was given up for adoption, and the first family didn't want him, and then the second family did, and like all this different stuff.
I did not know that.
You almost kind of wonder, like, just it's what you do with how you are raised and what you learn, right? Isn't it?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of what he was saying.
No, I think if you learn how to condition yourself, I guess, and
yeah, and take it. And I was talking to somebody else this weekend who just had the most terrible upbringing ever, but they're a really good dad. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him, as much as you may not have liked your dad, he is why you are such a good dad now, because yours was absent and abandoned you and your 7 brothers and sisters, and he just took off and never came back.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's how you condition it. But anyways. So she says 3 things. The subconscious mind is the blueprint of our lives. So the little rap that you get when you're a child and all those beliefs is what creates your belief system for the rest of your life. And it says that we are oblivious to the fact that our subconscious minds and what we've learned and all that as a kid really are running our lives. And our conscious minds, no matter how we try to be cool and try to have it together and try to be smart when it does arrive, you still have to overcome those subconscious lessons you learned as a child.
So this big thing now, Mel Robbins, 54321, everyone, remember her? Mm-hmm. Her big thing right now, if you follow her on Instagram, I know a lot of you do, is doing the Dunkin' cold water thing. And apparently that is supposed to help with a lot of childhood trauma.
Really?
I don't know how, but that's why one of the reasons she's doing it, not just health benefits. So it's very interesting that you're bringing up childhood
how about we try Dunkin' Adam and see if it comes out any different?
I think you have to do it multiple times.
You want to try it, Adam?
Well, you're my adoptive father. Maybe you and I should have a counseling session together.
Now we're talking.
I'm in. Let's get started. Bring over a chair.
And then Almer can be the counselor.
There we go. Oh, yeah. No, she can make sure that it stays morally correct.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, she's the moral? No. All right.
She still is the moral.
She can't be that. She always threatens to beat me up whenever I hit the nail on the head with you. She's always the one that's like, shut your mouth. You can't say that.
She's a protective mother. So this is kind of why many people stumble through life, is what she's saying.
Okay.
And we just kind of aren't living the lives we want. So I thought it was interesting. So based on how you grew up, money. So like, here's the premise.
Okay.
Money, for example, in your mindset equals struggle. Money's unavailable because your dad said, that like, all these money problems and blah, blah, blah. And finally they have so much financial clout, he leaves or whatever. So because of that, for the rest of your life, money equals struggle. Money's unavailable. It's money's fault that my father abandoned me. Money sucks and causes pain. It's just like you start to integrate these thoughts from when you were a child and all these things that start to develop how you feel about certain things. And so here's an example. Your conscious mind says, I long to find and marry my soulmate. Mm-hmm. That's what your conscious mind says. I'm going to find my soulmate and I'm going to marry him. Mm-hmm. Your subconscious mind says, why? Don't you remember what we've watched with our life? Intimacy leads to pain and suffering. So the result? Ringless. Okay? Your subconscious mind says, I want to lose your conscious mind says, I want to lose 25 pounds. Mm-hmm. But your subconscious mind says, people aren't safe. I have to build a shield around myself to protect myself, to keep men and to keep life away from me. So your result? A fortress of flab.
Yes. Praise Jesus.
I feel safe in these walls.
I do.
Yeah, so your fortress of flab is working out great, okay? So your subconscious mind, I want to travel the world.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Your conscious mind says, I want to travel the world. Your subconscious mind says,
It's not a good time.
it's irresponsible. Fun means irresponsible. You need to stay and work. People won't love me. So as a result, my passport is blank. So it's just how you are conditioned and how you think one thing, but then your subconscious mind bitch slaps you.
That's
and the next thing you know, you end up
so
ringless. You know, another one was on sex life. I want to have hot, passionate sex. And then the subconscious mind says, ooh, but that's wrong. It's not right. You're not supposed to be doing that. It's inappropriate. So your sex life equals non-existent. It's just, you know, these are the types of things.
Interesting.
So this is a little
Very
bit
interesting.
about what, you know, just how we're conditioned. So
That's really interesting.
Isn't
All
it
of that. That's really interesting.
I mean, it's just how we battle with our different thoughts based on the way we were raised. You know what I mean? So, and I really do think, but you look at people like Elon Musk, and you look at some of these really powerful people like, you know, the Microsoft, I watched Bill Gates' commencement at Harvard and stuff like that too. Like, why is it that these really successful people are successful? Why is it that Steve Jobs was raised by foster family and his parents didn't want him and all this different stuff and becomes the most innovative man of our century, the technological renaissance that he created as I sit here on my iPad with my iPhone in my pocket, you know, I mean, so what do you think?
Is it, I don't know, is it destiny? Is it, you know, or is it true? I don't know.
Tom,
People, what do you guys think?
Tom, let me ask you a question. Why are successful people successful? What's your thoughts, your observation? The Olympic athletes you've known, all that stuff. Why are successful people, I'm putting you on the spot, I'm sorry, but why are successful people successful?
I think it's two. One is either their upbringing that breeds success, but also a lot of the ones that we know, they did it in spite of what they were told growing up. It's like, I'm going to show you.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you talked about Steve Jobs. When they found his father, because his father was in food and beverage in the Reno area, he would never meet him. Even though they tried to arrange it, Steve Jobs would never meet his biological father.
Jessica Will says, Tom hit the nail right on the coffin. Okay.
The mail.
Hey, let's leave the coffin thing out of
Mail.
it.
So Vicki Carpenter, let me ask you. Hey, and I don't know, you can keep your camera off, Vicki, it's okay. But what do you think? What makes one person successful? I mean, what about the families that have 2 or 3 kids, and one of them ends up in jail, and the other one ends up, you know, President of the United States, Bill Clinton? Remember that? His brother was in jail.
That's why you got to have multiple kids.
Yeah, so you got to roll the dice.
Crapshoot. Yeah.
What do you think, Vicki Carpenter?
I don't know. I think every family has one. I mean, we have one that succeeds, 1 or 2 that are mediocre, and then one that, you know, is off the rails. So I think sometimes it's inner drive. I think it's.
And
I don't know. How do you raise 4 kids in the same household and they're all different?
I wish I knew.
So when you're an only child, you're all of them?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's how we get issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's individual drive and maybe the mentors, the people that they hang out with.
Brian, Brian Keene, honestly, man, like if you had to guess the most successful people that you've met in your life, what would you say is the attributes of them? And is there anything you can identify when you look at them?
Work ethic and drive.
And where do you get that? How, I mean, are you born with it? Does it nurture? Does it environment? You know, like.
You can learn it. I mean, you can learn it by surrounding yourself with people like that, you know?
Boy, that is the truth. That is the truth, certainly. Teresa DiCiola, what do you think? The successful people that you've met, some of the best clients ever, like what do you see out there?
Good morning, Chuck. Yeah, what I wanted to say is I think it's attitude. The most successful ones I've met, they have an attitude of like 100% responsibility for their actions and what happens to them, and they deal with it. And it seems like others, like they want to blame other people as to why they're not successful and why they're not getting what they want. But I think that it first starts with just 100% responsibility for your actions and yourself.
I love that.
That's amazing.
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
All that. We appreciate
Yeah.
that, guys.
Sarah's raising her hand too.
Yes, Sarah. What do you think of the people you've met, success? What's the attributes?
I think that it's funny. My friends and I talk about this a lot. You know, you can either be a product of your environment, you can be a victim of it, or you can use it as an example of what you don't want to do with your life. Like I've had a lot of people tell me, no, you're not going to do that, or no, you're not going to do this. And I think that has been my motivator my whole life is, oh, you said no? Okay, no, I say yes. And I say, yeah, I'm going to actually do that, and I'm going to make you eat your words. season apart. And yeah, it is hard. It is hard when I was raised by a couple of parents that were kids, and they didn't, I call my dad Peter Pan because it just wasn't, they weren't adults. I thought of them as friends. So that was things that I didn't want to do. And then I also raised my kids complete opposite from the way my parents did.
We might be kindred spirits, Sarah. My parents were 15, both of them when I was born. So
oh my gosh, yeah.
talk about kids.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, amen.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Jenny?
I think hearing Teresa say what she said, that's probably really it. It's people who just own it and say, no, this is me. It's not my surroundings. It's whatever I'm going to choose to do it. I'm not going to blame anyone else. It's because we all could blame someone else for any little thing.
Yeah.
But it's ones who just own it and just say, I'm accountable for myself.
I'm gonna agree, and I'm gonna say I love what Teresa said. I also like what Brian said, that you are who you hang out with.
Yeah,
and that
too.
we've talked about that a million times, but. And it is not easy out in the world to find, the people that you want to aspire to be, to hang out with, and do all that.
Or even people to connect with.
Yeah, I mean, especially like movers and shakers and all that sort of stuff. But you do have to find those people, and those are the clients that become friends, and all that sort of stuff. So, as soon as I'm going to move to the next section,
okay.
I think you guys will like this one. It's called the G word.
Oh, hey.
And what this section?
Is this about Adam?
The G word? Explain.
She means gangsta. I'm such a gangsta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That
yes.
G.
Oh, that
That's
G.
G.
Okay. So basically, the G word, thank you guys, refers to God. Okay, so she gets into a discussion about that. And she talks about how, in this chapter, how people are afraid to talk about it.
True.
And people don't like to use that word, so they'll say the universe, or they say all these different things. And then she kind of reverts back to a story that I wanted to tell. So she lived in New Mexico for a while, and she's from the city. And there was a bunch of city folks that were staying in New Mexico for a while. I don't know if they were working on a project or what it was. And so they would go down to this one bar. And when they would go down to this bar, she said it was a bar that was, super country, cowboys, hats, the whole shebang, $2 Bud Lights. The dance floor was the size of a cornfield. You guys getting the vision here?
Yeah,
I always figure it's like Toby Keith, I love this bar.
Yes.
So whatever. And she said that they used to just sit back and they used to watch people line dancing. And they would make fun of it. They'd make fun of that guy's outfit, that guy's belt buckle. They just go, look how ridiculous these people are. Now they're city folk. And so as they're making fun of all these people, a couple of them go, come on, this will be funny, let's get out there. And the next thing you know, they're getting into it for the other people that are with them, making a joke about it. And then all of a sudden they're trying to hit the heel right at the time for the click, and all this different stuff. And then they're out there for the next song, and they're out there for the next song, and waiting for the next song until they're just continually out there every weekend, and they ended up loving it and just becoming massive line dancers. Right? But you start out by making fun of something.
I feel like this is you a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
Do you guys agree? I feel like totally this is you.
I don't make fun of.
I'm pretty sure we did that this weekend.
Line danced?
No, made fun of people.
No, I would never do that. I would
But
never
then you
do
realize
that.
they're the ones who are having the best time.
Yeah, well, so basically, she decided to do the same thing with God. So
Okay.
she said, instead of rolling my eyes and thinking about how ridiculous this is and how these Bible thumpers are crazy and all that stuff, she just decided that, even though people would say that this spirituality crap, this God stuff is for suckers, and she said, that's the attitude I had going in, but I changed my mind because I wanted to go to the line dancer. She said, and then she started doing some research on it, started going to church, started bringing God into her life, and then she noticed all the awesome shifts that started happening in her life, and she started becoming obsessed with it, and her life started to change, and everything started to get better, and she ended up writing this book, and now she's famous, and she's no longer a 40-year-old smoking a bong, reading travel magazines on the couch. Now she's super famous,
Yeah.
So wait, she did this when she was 40?
Yes.
So you're saying I've got another 6 years of just smoking a bong on the couch before I can do something successful with my life?
No, but you can be ahead of the curve.
Well,
you can be ahead of the game.
You're telling
you don't have
me
to wait.
40 is the new 30.
No, I'm telling you, and Brian, back me up on this. Brian Keene, I guarantee you right now, Brian is in his prime. I believe that your prime is in your 50s and in your 60s. I used to think it's in your 30s. But I believe that it's in your 50s and 60s now. That's when you've got the knowledge. That's when if you take care of yourself, you still got the health. There's so many things that have been thrown at you in life that you can start answering those questions. You start to understand. If you've been in the business, I look at Corey Bryant and some of the younger agents out there, and I think if you're still here in 10, 15, 20 years, you're going to be a beast.
Beast. That's what I think. Like these newbies, they are going to be
Yes.
Bigger than our biggest ones now.
But Brian, I mean, wouldn't you kind of say you're in your prime? Don't you feel good about where you're at in your life? And I think age, it's just a number, and it is. Adam, watch. What do you think? What do you think, Brian?
Prime as in health, probably not. I'm mid 50s.
Okay.
Wisdom part, yes. I mean, you learn through all the, everything thrown your way through life, but. True story.
And wisdom is everything, really. I mean, but yeah, health. Dude, you take great care of yourself. Don't give me that crap. None of us believe that here. We know you're probably in great health.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to the chiropractor in about 8 hours now. Yeah.
All right, well then, I take back half of it. I'm talking about just the mental part.
Yeah.
All right, so basically she was talking about, so with God and her accepting that and moving on and all that stuff, she basically said, I decided to just jump on the mechanical bull in that New Mexico place, punch my fists in the air and hollow, I love the man that's controlling this, let's go, hit it, Wayne. That's what she was basically saying, and that's when she started to take off.
Okay.
And she said, hey, if you don't feel comfortable saying it, call it whatever you want. God, the big guy, the universe, source energy, higher power, the zone, the Lord, the vortex, whatever you want to call it, but tap into that, because that's where the rest of this book goes.
Okay.
And she says that we're all of us are connected to this limitless power that we're only using a fraction of. Would you agree?
Yes.
And she says that the universe and everything around us is made up of energy. Here's where I really started to buy into this book. Everything around us is made up of energy. Agree? You can feel it. You can feel it from this computer. It is. And energy is vibrated at a certain frequency, and everything you desire or don't desire is vibrating at a certain frequency. So vibration attracts like vibration. So whatever you're putting out in the universe is what you're going to get back. And that's when she started talking about the law of attraction. Do you remember the law of attraction? I don't know if any of you guys, I don't know, Corey, some of you guys were a lot younger when the law of attraction was big, but it's about things like pulling into a parking lot and saying, I'm going to get a spot in the front row right now.
Yep.
And you get it.
Sure shooting.
It's about, I'm going to go to this movie theater and there's just going to be 2 seats right in the middle, right where I want them. And it happens. So the law of attraction is about, I want to be a millionaire and I become a millionaire. I'm going to sell a house today and I sell a house. I'm going to meet 2 people that are going to want to sell their home in the next 60 days and it happens. So the law of attraction is about putting it out in the universe and getting it back. Now, you're such a skeptic over there, Adam. What do you think about the law of attraction?
I'm not a skeptic. I don't believe that you can manifest your own destiny, but I do believe in I'm serious. You cannot will yourself a parking spot. That is the dumbest.
Yeah, you can.
So look, guys,
I do it all the time.
And I will a green light.
No. Here's what it is, Jenny. We're gonna have Adam run the show, and it's gonna be called Monday Demotivation.
No, it'd be mundane motivation.
We're gonna rename the show, and Adam's taking.
Hold on, let me finish.
I'm listening. Proceed.
But you can. I mean, there is. You can put something out there and put something in your mind, and it's like when you want to buy a Tesla, and then you start seeing Teslas all around. I do believe in that form of manifestation.
Okay.
If you keep saying negative stuff, you're going to bring the negative stuff to you because you are now actively looking for it, whether you know it or not.
Let me ask you this. If you wanted, and if you envisioned, and if you worked on it, could you make $1 million in a year and 5 years from now?
Absolutely.
That's it.
I totally could. I just don't want that responsibility. I went and had drinks. I don't drink, but I had non-alcoholic drinks with my buddy who is the biggest drunk, acid-doing friend I know. And I said, "What?"
Like him.
He's 38, and he's like, I know I can't do this forever, but I don't want to love a child. I don't want that responsibility. And he's one of the most smartest, talented people I know.
No, he's being real.
And this is as he's hammered dropping acid.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great.
But he's honest. He's
hey, don't forget, you are who you hang out with. Is he not listening to me? I feel like he's not listening.
Oh, we balance him out. That's what it is.
You do.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why he's okay.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I apologize for asking him, Jenny. All right.
I know. I'm kind of stressed out now.
I know. So basically, we're attracting energy to ourselves all the time. And you know what? There's a couple people on this call right now that I'm actually thinking about specifically, and I don't want to call them out. But there are people on this call that, whether they realize it or not, are working at a low frequency vibration.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's you know who I'm talking about, but where you are only expecting pessimism and needy, and that you're victimized, and that your life is not going the way you want, and you're shameful, and you're jealous, and you think you're ugly, and all of these different things. And you have to snap out of that low vibration and start realizing that that's not the case. It's a mind shift.
Yep.
And if we shift our mind, you can become, and it's not about being cocky or whatever. It's just about carrying around that fun, happiness, brightness,
the
persona.
Energy. So that energy comes back to you.
Don't you agree, Jenny?
Yes, 100%.
I mean, all you guys know Jenny. Jenny walks around like she's a light bulb. Don't you agree, Jen? She's a light bulb. So are you. You're always positive, always smiling, so good things come back. And a couple of you guys make me nervous because I see it in you. I can say that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not saying who it is.
All right.
But
So-
if you kind of think it may be you, it may be you.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know what I'm saying, Adam?
Oh, don't pin this on me.
All right, so you need to raise your frequency to match the vibration of what you want to tune into.
Yeah.
Is basically what she's saying. The universe
Yes.
will match whatever, smart, will match whatever vibration you put out, and you can't fool the universe.
You cannot.
That's what it says. You cannot fool the universe. So when vibrating at a high frequency, awesome things seem to come to you, and you stumble across the perfect people, and you stumble across opportunities. They're just happening to you all the time. I'm watching Brian with his business, and he's building a beautiful house and all this different stuff. Like, his vibration is always at a high frequency, and anybody that
Yes.
knows Brian knows he's always positive, he's always there for you, he's always commenting on your stuff, carries that around with him. And if you do that, you're going to get success pouring back into you.
Well, and that's where I do believe in manifestation. What you're actually doing is you're creating new neural pathways in your brain.
In a sense.
By saying, like, I want this, I want to achieve, like, you will. It's just like me with my Krav Maga. It's like, no, it's Saturday at 6:30. I will get up and take the 2-hour class in the morning because I want this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah.
So, but like I was saying, so when it says when you're at a high frequency, good things come to you. You stumble across the perfect people. You find clients, opportunities, money, passive income. All these things start to come to you when you're thinking about that. And Albert Einstein said, and I thought it was a weird place to put in the quote, but I get it now. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. It's basically God working in the universe saying, I'm going to reward you for the way you're being and for the positivity you're bringing to the planet and for all those sorts of things. So Einstein says coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous.
Did he really say that?
It's in the book. Hey,
Oh,
It's in
really?
the book. It's got to be here. It's got to be right.
I just didn't
It's like
know
if it's on Instagram,
We need our
Partner
fact
stuff.
checkers on this.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
when you subconsciously master the energetic realm, as they call it, and believe in the not yet seen and stay in your high frequency, you harness the power to do and receive anything you could ever possibly dream of. So that's basically her chapter. So in order to truly raise your vibration, you have to believe everything you want is available, which
Yep.
it is, right? You could have anything you want. I mean, do you agree that if you wanted to have a Rolls Royce in 5 years, you could have one?
Yes, but I kind of am like Adam's friend. I don't want that responsibility.
Yeah.
Or Adam, I don't want that. That's a lot of work.
I feel you.
But I totally could. I know
You could.
I have everything here that I need to do if I wanted to do that.
Right.
Jeremy really does like Rolls Royces, though.
Well, maybe it's time. So now, and the best way to keep this belief is by staying connected to the energy source, is what it's saying, the positive energy source that's feeding you out to what you want. And you guys know, everybody on this call knows, the people that you run into that light you up like a light bulb,
Yeah.
that make you feel good, that bring you that energy, that make you laugh, that make you smile, those guys get good fortune. Those gals get good fortune, So carrying that around is one thing, and then of course, so it's energy and it's action, working in unison. It basically, the force is with you. It's in the
Yes.
rock. It's in the tree.
Yeah.
The force is with you, basically, is what it's saying. But anybody have any comments on this? Tommy, you think I'm being crazy talking about all this energy stuff and vibration? What's your thoughts?
No, I actually believe it. Actually, if you talk to Roy Brown, his whole goal is when he talks to people, and he talks a lot, when he talks to people, he wants them to have a better day after they're done talking than they did before.
Tell everyone who that is. Not everyone knows who that is.
Roy Brown is part of the Brown and Brown team, and they absolutely dominate 4 seasons.
He's in his 80s, and they are top agents. Yeah, and I remember interviewing him, Tom, and what he's basically saying is, and I asked him, what is your business plan? And he said, my business plan is to make everyone feel better after I've talked to them than before I came up and met them. That was his entire business plan.
That's my kind of business plan.
And
when you're done talking to him, you absolutely feel a lot better.
Yeah. Now, I see Sonia's on the call. Sonia coaches a lot of, obviously, the top people. And I want to talk to you. Think all this vibration crap and the energy that you put out and all that. What's your thoughts on that, Sonia? Are you there? Oh,
Well, I'm here. I believe in what you put out, you receive. And whether it's in your brain wavelengths or your energy, there's so many ways that the energy is brought back to you. So I think it's good stuff. I really do. I think Adam has a very good point that we can't just walk in and say, hey, I'm going to make $1 million in the next 12 months.
Thank you, Sonia.
And assume that it's going to happen. You have to put a lot of work into it. You have to make it happen.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that go into that. Adam's got a good point, but I do believe the energy you put into something, you receive.
You can't make it happen without having a good attitude.
True.
Absolutely.
True. And I do remember this, Sonia, and I remember talking to you about it. We were at a business planning, and I'll never forget this. It was about 10 years ago. And we were going around the room, and we had figured out how many units you had to make to make the money that you wanted to make. So, for example, if you wanted to make $200,000, you had to do 23 sales, blah, 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 blah. And I remember going around and asking people what their goal was. And most of it was like, I'm going to make $150,000 this year. I'm going to do 11 sales, da-da-da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. And I remember asking one lady, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm going to make $1 million. And I was like, no, you're not. Like, you could tell. And I know that sounds really terrible, but we have to be realistic. And I had
Come on, motivation man.
No, I had seen her. I had seen her in the past. Look, guys. I had seen her in the past. There's two types of people. There's the people that talk, and there's the people that do.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I had seen a continual pattern of not doing what she said she was going to do.
Okay.
And so it drove me crazy. So, but I believe so. You can't just have the mindset. You can't just say, I'm going to do that. You have to put in the work too, which is what Sonia was saying, right? But I'll never forget that because I'm not a negative guy, and I wasn't trying to stomp somebody's dreams.
Right.
I was just saying, be the kind of person that's going to do it. So I like that.
The silent ones are the most deadly ones.
What are you referring to?
Well, I didn't think about that. But it's true. It's like the people who say, never mind, I've already botched this.
Yeah, you have. No, but I know what you're saying, Adam. On both ends.
It's like the loudest guy in the room that wants to start a fight. That's the guy you don't have to worry about. You have to worry about the quiet one. It's the same deal with, people who are successful. Like, it's kind of like when you're writing a script. One thing we do when we write scripts is we don't tell our script stories to people, because then we get the satisfaction of telling the story when you're supposed to get the satisfaction from writing it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's relevant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right. So, no, I'm kidding. I get it. So
I'm trying to be helpful here.
So, no, I appreciate it. And obviously some people are resonating with your comments. So, but what I do want to do, before we move on to this next section, Jenny, I want all of us, every one of us today, to try to be the biggest, brightest, most energetic, positive, fun people we can be today. Okay. Spend the entire day going out there and lighten it up. Lighten everybody up, paying compliments, being appreciative, like doing all that sort of stuff, and see how you start to feel by the time we hit lunch or the time we hit the afternoon. You know what I mean?
Does it include you, Chuck?
Yeah. Hey, I do my best, but I'm surrounded by Manny, Mo, and friggin' Jack over here. Mo, Larry, and it's tough. Just kidding. Anyway, so you know how there's been some things, Jenny, you and I talked about this. There's some quotes that have stuck with us through all these books that I think are really powerful.
Yes.
Either you control the day or the day controls you.
Eat that frog.
Eat that frog. Sometimes the most powerful moments in your life-changing moments are happening and you don't even know they're happening. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, like those are empowerment. This is a new one for me.
Okay.
I think this was it's by a guy named Lao Tzu. He is the founder of Taoism. And I love this quote. Ready? Yeah. And I read this to you already a little bit earlier. If you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. And I do think that that's a really great one, because if you are depressed, it's because of things that have happened. And I know it's just the way it is. If you are anxious or have anxieties, and I can speak from personal experience, you're worried about the future. Or if you're at peace, you're living right now. And so I like the idea of just living positive and right now.
Right now.
But staying positive and happy and
just
all
today.
that. Yeah. So I love that. I'm going to keep in that one.
I like it.
And basically this section is, the universe loves you and it wants you to partake in the miraculous so badly. And it delivers little wake-up calls to you. And you just had one, Jenny.
Yes.
You just had a little wake-up call.
Yes.
And it's like when in a movie somebody narrowly escapes death and then they go dance on the streets, or it's when someone is just excited to be alive. Like, do you remember It's a Wonderful Life when Jimmy Stewart, he's like, I don't care, Susan's pedals, but he was just ready to jump off a bridge, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, because he realized he wants to be alive and all that sort of stuff, he just becomes a positive person. So the universe has these little wake-up calls. Do you want to talk about what you learned from your wake-up call? Do you want to or not? You don't have to.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't put this on Facebook, and my daughters did, but everyone doesn't follow them. And my son did. My son had a scooter accident. Thankfully, his motorcycle had a flat tire, so he wasn't on the big bike. A car went over into his lane, and we almost lost it. His spleen, ruptured his spleen, blah, blah, blah. They were able to save him, and it was a huge miracle. What I really think it was a huge eye-opener for them, for my son and daughter-in-law. I have chills. I'm just... because now they really are seeing, I think this, and they both feel this is what's going to just take them up and up and up. They realize that this was, how many wake-up calls does this boy have to have about motorcycles? I mean, Jesus, that's what we've told him. And for us, it's just like, now, it's time, people. Let's just love and continue on.
Well, and because when that was happening for you, I mean, basically, it talks about how really, really amazing people, like the horrible things that happened to Oprah that turned Oprah into Oprah, when she was young, and these defining moments that change you forever. It's just, if you can take a lesson from some of the smaller little wake-up calls, you don't have to be all the way at the bottom.
Big ones. And that's what I told my kid. I'm like, if you could have listened, now this isn't horrible. You survived, and this isn't going to. And here's another thing: surround yourselves, you guys, with people who raise you up, because I could not have made it through this without these people.
Isn't she sweet? So anyways, but it's just about those wake-up calls. And yes, and for him, that's what's funny, how you're watching him have his wake-up calls and his lessons. And I'll bet he might not be the same person in a year or two.
Right, and he's 27, so let's hope.
Right, so
he's maybe watching.
Well, hey. So hopefully you don't need a catastrophe to have your transformation happen.
Right?
And
learn from the littles, like you just said.
It is true. It is true. And it's not that things and opportunities that we want in life don't exist yet. It's just that we're not tapping into that, the awareness of their existence. But like, I always think that life is made up of moments. And it's funny because everyone on this call, everyone can remember times when maybe they had money issues. Yeah. Or when they lost a parent or a sibling or a grandparent or whatever, and it just wakes you up and transfers you and changes you. And those really are the good things. I mean, it's hard, but they make you who you're going to be on the rest of this ride. So anyways, anything you want to add on that, Sonia? Anything I'm missing on all that stuff? Because I would love to get your take on it. I mean, the little things, and I know Sonia's had some big things that have happened to her in her life that were wake-up calls too.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's important, it's hard to share this stuff.
We don't have to share it, but I mean, what do you got for us, Sonia, in this stuff?
Where'd she go?
She's there. She's muted. She's muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, she's still muted.
There we go. Yeah. I'm still muted. Sometimes some of us need to be hit with a baseball bat, and I think that's what happened to me, because my life was good and everything was going around fine until, I got hit. And I could have taken the incident and gone to a different direction. But over the years, you realize that it was a wake-up call and that there's more to life than what you were working on. So it's pretty important for us to pay attention to the little things. And then when those big things happen, really pay attention. What is the universe telling you? What do you need to pay attention to? And don't let it slide. It's really important for your future and the person you become.
It's the truth. It's just those big, those moments. But and that kind of ties in the next thing. The next section is called the big snooze.
Okay.
Okay, the big snooze.
Like a nappy or?
A little bit. And it talks about, so when you think of ego, what do you think of, Adam?
Chuck.
Okay, great.
Sorry.
Now your mic's on. You can turn it off now, Sonia.
Your mic's on.
What the heck?
Sorry.
Jeez. So
she knows you well.
See, this is why I have issues, guys. All three of them said it uniformly here. All right, so when you think of ego, you think about somebody being conceited or braggy. But in the self-help community, it's called your shadow self. Your ego is called your shadow self, your other self, your false self. And she likes to call it the one that acts like a weenie. Okay, that's what Jen Sincero says. And in other words, you know, there's more than one way to go on an ego trip, right?
Okay.
So this one is about your shadow self, your guide, your ego guide, is the leading cause of sucking, is what she says. You know, staying broke, dating morons, controllably crying in public because we hate our lives, all right?
I feel attacked.
It's that we haven't yet woken up to how truly powerful we are, massively abundant the universe is. But so the BS.
Say that part again that you just said.
The leading cause of sucking means like, it's that little, I almost want to think of your ego as a voice on your shoulder that keeps you broke, that makes you date morons, that has you crying in public, that makes you think you hate your life. Like all the reasons and excuses and negativity that goes on it's just because when we're in that phase of our life, we haven't woken up to realize how cool the universe can be and how abundant it can be.
Okay.
So here's a couple things I thought were interesting. Watching someone else totally go for it can be incredibly upsetting to the person who spent a lifetime building a solid case for why they can't do it themselves.
Right. And some of these people on this call who are really killing it, you're going to lose some friends.
Yes.
But there's a
good point.
Yeah, there's a reason there's only 2 seats in a what's that, Bugatti or whatever? Bugatti. But it's okay because you're going to make new friends. We're here for you.
So I'm going to say that again. Watching someone else totally go for it can be incredibly upsetting to the person who spent a lifetime building a solid case as to why they themselves can't.
Yep.
So I do like that because it is true. You will lose friends. And you know what? That's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay because maybe they weren't friends anyway.
If they're not there to raise you up and to tell you how amazing you are.
I've always liked that quote of, pay attention to the people that are not clapping.
Yep.
As you get a success. Corey Bryant, you're starting to get some success. A lot of you guys are starting to get some success. Pay attention to who is happy for you. That's who you want to surround yourself with. When I see somebody, you know, and I've seen a lot of my friends become multimillionaires, and I am so thrilled for them. Or they'll tell me something and they're like, this is what sucks. I have some friends who are beyond successful. And I tell them, I am so proud of you, man. I've watched where you've come from. And they started with nothing. Their parents, like some of them, their parents didn't even speak English, like whatever. And now they are kind of at the pinnacle. And I tell them, they're like, hey, I did this. And I said, oh, that's cool. And they whisper it to me. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they go, you're the only person I can tell.
Yeah.
You're the only person I can tell because everybody else is a judgy a-hole to me.
Yep.
So I love that advice. You're going to lose some friends along the way, and pay attention to those that are clapping for you. That's who you want to surround yourself with. So just remember, when taking great leaps forward, life often turns to shit before it turns to shinola.
Yeah.
It's always tough before it gets better. Isn't that the truth?
Isn't that?
It's always darkest before the dawn.
That's right. That's
all
right.
those little things.
And the big snooze, BS, the BS, will do everything it can to stop you from changing, stop you from growing, especially when you're attempting to get rid of that old identity and become the new badass that you want to be.
Hence
the badass that you want to be. So anyways, we're almost out of here. So any comments on that? You guys with me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Chuck,
Go ahead, please.
you know, sometimes I've learned in life, people come into your life and they're your best friend and they're there to support you. But as you continue to grow and they're comfortable where they are, there's that fear that they're going to lose you. And so they're trying to pull you back and keep you where they were comfortable. And you have to realize that sometimes you have to let them be okay in their area as you go forward. And they may or may not stay with you, but it's not a love-hate situation. It's more of a situation of your growth is stronger, bigger, and your road is going in a different path that no longer includes them. And it is hard.
It is.
Because you've formed some really powerful relationships there. But you have to give them permission to stay where they are and go down their path as you go forward. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the same location you are in now, and you always will be. It's your choice.
I love it. That's what I loved about that, and what I saw is your path may be going this way, and their path may be going that way, and maybe you're not staying at the same point. I didn't even think about that. You're both just growing, and that's okay. It's okay and you may meet up for drinks on accident sometime, and
but keep in touch and sell their house.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
You tacky son of a bitch.
Sorry. And I agree with that. And it is kind of sad, Sonia. And I don't know if anybody else has this, but people coming into your life they come in and they go, right?
Yes.
They're either here for a reason, a season, or for life. And it is sad because some wonderful people will come in and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And that's just the way life is, you know, and you just got to get what you can while you're there and realize that everyone's there for a reason and for lessons and all that. But yeah, and I'm not quite sure that's what you were saying, Sonia, but okay, so the next one is called self-perception. How does Jenny see Jenny?
Okay.
This is going to be fun. Oh yeah.
For who?
For you. We're gonna do this on you. Or maybe we'll pick on Janie Kristofi or somebody here. Okay. So this one's good. So we spend our lives drifting between glimpses of our own infinite glory and the fear that we only are really incapable, we're unworthy, we're lazy, we're horrible, but it's only a matter of time before somebody blows the whistle on us. That we're just a big phony. And I remember one of my friends took a job at Apple, a very high-powered job at Apple, and he's the smartest guy, one of the smartest guys I know. And he was all nervous, and I said, dude, what are you nervous about? And he goes, everybody that starts at a really good company or doing something really great has the same thing in the tech industry. And I said, what's that? And he goes, it's called imposter syndrome. And I go, what's that? He goes, we're all afraid that somebody's going to figure out that we're not really as smart as we pretend to be. And I thought that was interesting that we all potentially have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, that somebody's going to figure you out.
Yeah.
You know, and do you guys notice that? Do you feel that? Yeah, I mean, so, but it's something we have to overcome.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's what I want you to do, Jenny.
Okay.
I wish we could pick on somebody who needs some confidence because you're already cocky enough, but we're going to pick you anyway. So, so we spend our lives drifting. We talked about that. No. So instead, try seeing yourself through the eyes of someone who admires you. They get it. They believe in you with leaps and bounds. They aren't connected to your insecurities and your negative beliefs about you like you are, right? All they see is your true potential, your true you, your true glory, and they become one of your diehard fans, and you have them. There's a couple on this call that are probably Jenny diehard fans. Look at yourself from the outside where all your self-doubts can crawl over you and behold what shines through. So try to look at yourself like some of your fans do. Does that make any sense? And how would you describe yourself if you were one of your fans? Because Jenny gets texts from you guys all the time. I love that you shared this or that or whatever. We know you guys, the people love you, but do you feel as good about you as some of your fans do?
God, if I think of it like that, like I'm just like beaming. I think that's what we need to do. Or like look at ourselves like our kids look at us. Like that's how we need to, not teenage girls.
Until they figure out that, until 11, until 11 years old.
Yeah, 11 to 18, that was not pretty. And still girls are still rough in their 30s. But yeah, when you look at, I love that, guys, because we all have fans.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. If you look at yourself the way your fans look at, you guys, and all joking aside, I'm fans of all three of you guys. Just so you know.
And we're fans of you
in case I don't say that.
Of all three of you.
But basically, so I am not cursing. This is a line from the book. We are all perfect in our own magnificent, fucked up ways.
Yes, I agree with that.
And laugh at yourself, love yourself and others, and rejoice in the cosmic ridiculousness that is our lives.
I love it.
So basically, any thoughts on that, Sonia? And that's what's cool. Like as a coach, I guess, you get to take a look at people and you get to see their positives or maybe things that other people don't see.
Yeah.
Any comments on that, Sonia, before we close out?
Oh, I was just laughing because I am coaching a young man who is not in real estate. He's in another professional sports. And he came to the session and every other word was how he had fucked up. It was this, this, and this, and this. And by the time it was over, I was worn out. And I said, you really are fucked up. And he says, yeah, but I do it so well. And he does. He wears it well. He lives it. And his life is good. So, I guess it's all in how you look at it.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. And how about you, Janie? Any comments on anything that you heard today that you want to share with the class? Because everybody loves and respects Janie. What do you got?
First, Chuck, you and Trina have something in common. Both your moms were 15 when they had you. I didn't even know that.
Were you 15 when Trina was born?
Yes.
Wow. No kidding.
That's really cool.
Isn't it? And look at Janie go.
That is really cool.
And Trina's great, and she has a great career, and you should be very proud of yourself. No such thing as a roadblock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that is crazy. That is crazy. I love that. Okay. And how old was he? 35?
Oh, pardon me?
How old was he? Dad.
Trina's dad? Like a year or two. I don't know, 16.
Okay, so wow. Yeah, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good job, Janie. Good job.
We didn't even have driver's license. Hello. weren't even old enough to work.
I know.
Old enough to do something else.
I know. Oh, geez. Yeah, I remember my mom's.
I was a young mom.
My mom's first job, because she was 15 when I was born. I remember going down. It was at Noggles, which is now Del Taco.
Hell yeah!
You remember
I love
Noggles?
Noggles. I worked at Straw Hat Pizza.
Oh, did you? That's where Margaret worked before she got into real estate. Yeah.
And taco.
That's right. That's right. And I remember the Noggles egg burritos for breakfast when I was like 3. But anyways,
Sauce.
cool. Well, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you guys like it. We're only halfway through the You Are a Badass.
You're a badass.
You're a badass. You're a badass. So anyways, we will be back next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Anything going on this week, Jen? Meetings are coming up next week. We're going to have them Tuesdays, Wednesday, and Thursday in offices.
Yes!
In offices. You got to come in. You got to clean up your desk. We're going to be doing Matterports of the offices. We got to clean them up. Got all kinds of fun stuff.
I am so excited.
I know. And, hopefully it's probably going to be a long time, but seems like things are really opening up. So
we're opening them up. Who cares?
Out in the world. And guess what? How many listings do we have to share today, Teresa?
We have 9 listings.
All right, so the inventory is going back up. Stop panicking. Inventory is going back up, and Teresa is going to take over. And thank you guys. Like, comment, share if you can. We really appreciate you guys coming on the show. If you'd like something.
Chuck.
Yes, please, Tommy.
Chuck, can I say one thing?
Yes, please.
We have an agent down here, Lana. Although she's living in Texas right now, she's still with us.
Yes.
She and her husband are from Ukraine.
Right.
And her whole family is over there. So everybody just think good thoughts.
Anna too. Anna too, out of the Cane Lake office. They are. Thank you, Jamie. They're a mess. So hopefully this.
Yeah. So everyone send good juju, good love to all of them.
So we appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, and we are going to turn it over to Teresa. And Teresa, you're on. Thank you very much.
Yay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Are we ready for this? Lots of new listeners.